Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I'm going to demystify faucet installation on a vanity. So let's get started. First order of business is to take the parts out of the box. This happens to be a Delta faucet kit. Widespread, meaning you can get these pretty far apart in a 3-hole design. So when you're working on this, a couple of mounting collars, a couple of mounting washers. So the name of the game is to get these parts in there. Now, this kit also comes with a new drain, because as you can see, if you're starting off with a new vanity, no drain. So let me show you the order of operations here and how to get these parts into the sink. So I'm going to slip this through and get that kind of loosely fit in there, and I'm going to show you how to throw the collar on it. So we start with a washer here. And then we start with the collar. And that's, these screws are, the reason why you put the washer there is these screws are there to press against the actual washer and not into the back of the stone. Try to one-hand this here for you. Just like that. So let's thread this on. And then we tighten down the screws for final adjustment. Once you got it nice and snug, you just give it a little tighten up here. And you may need to go back and do a fine tuning on these when you have the vanity installed all the way, the sink installed all the way, but just a nice snug up, and that stops this from spinning around on you. I forgot to mention in the last clip, make sure you put these little plastic washers on here. I forgot this kit had these. These stop the metal from grinding into the plastic, create a nice little seal. So we're gonna throw the faucet in the vanity here. I don't know whether to call this thing a vanity or a sink. It's kind of just the sink countertop. Now the little collar gets installed with this little nut, and right now I'm just snugging mine up. As you can see here, it's just sitting there. Just snug that up. You're gonna adjust that later. You can see I've gone back real quick and added my little plastic gaskets here. Just to note that, make sure you put those on. Now that you got your main hardware installed, this little fitting is going to be what supplies the hot and cold water to the primary tap. And the way these little fittings work is they're press fittings. So if you observe, when you push in, you can see the little clips move. So all you do is just basically squeeze these in and press up, and you'll feel them kind of snap in, just like that. That's all you do to install them. Just to give you an idea, that's what it looks like when it's fully seated. And when you pull on it lightly, you should not be able to pull that off without pressing in the tabs. So that's how far it goes. I'm just gonna line it up with pressing on the tabs lightly, and then just give it a snug little push, and it's nice and seated in there. That's all you gotta do. And then on the other side, same thing. Just like that. And then when you pull on it, it should not want to release from there. And that's the tolerance right there. Nice and tight. So the way the instructions have this is to have them kind of rolled like that, and they don't have it twisted around. So that is normal installation. You can see here, if you look at the instructions, that's what they're showing as well, how these are kind of wrapped around each other. The new drain assembly comes like this out of the box, and what you're gonna do is unscrew this lower part. So you drop that down, and you drop that little cone gasket down, and you're left with this. Now this has a rubber seal right here. This seats on the top side of the sink, and that lower seal right there seats here on the bottom side. So this just slips through. This just slips through, just like that. And then the other two parts you have are these parts. And this little gasket's gonna slide on this direction. And then you're gonna tighten it on with this guy right here. So let's tighten that up. Before I tighten that all the way up, I actually wanna show you, because I think this is important. This is how the gasket seals underneath. It's the cone shape. And in this little flat area of the gasket, get that to focus. This little flat area of the gasket seats against this little ridge in here. So that's what forms a seal on that side, and then what forms it on the vanity side is that cone shape right there. That's what it looks like, all snugged up, nice and tight. So if we look at the whole shot, you got your faucet installed, got your new drain installed with the new drain tailpipe, and everything is roughed and ready to be set into the vanity. So if you're doing this from underneath the sink, which most of you probably are, I think it helps to see what you're trying to do when trying to look behind this bowl. So now let me put the vanity in place, get the plumbing connections set. Before I throw this in there, let's talk about the connection between the new faucet taps and the shutoff valves in the wall. So let's talk about these right here. When they talk about 1/2 inch NPT, which is on the label here, talk about faucet, they talk about 1/2 inch and 3/8. What they're talking about here is 1/2 inch up here on the front, which is the wider side, and you can see the way these seal is through this actual gasket, not through Teflon tape. So if you're throwing Teflon tape on here for good measure, you can. It's really, the seal is happening with that gasket right there. So you don't need Teflon tape on here, and I'll probably get my share of professional plumbers telling me otherwise, but that's what actually makes the seal. Now on the other side, which is the service side, it's a bit smaller, and same fare there. There's a little ferrule in there and there's a little gasket. That's what creates the seal. So when you're tightening these things down, you're not going for, to beat a world record of strength, you're going for a nice snug fit. I'm gonna thread both of my supply hoses on first so I can show you this. So you can almost feel it. So if like I back it off and I'm turning and you can almost feel the rubber starting to make that seat in that fitting, seating against the inside of that brass coupling. So you can feel it. So now when you can kind of feel it get squishy, you can tighten it down. Give you an idea of what we're connecting to. There's our 2 supply sides and our drain going through this little vanity here. So that slides out of the way. You can get a good view of where we're connecting. So we're connecting to that tap and that drain. Okay, here we are under the sink. I've got the vanity set and glued in place. I've just connected the first line, which is the hot side. I know this is the hot side on mine, and then the cold side is going to go over here. So you're just going to connect that up like this. So this is what you're trying to achieve. So what I'm going to do now is deconstruct so you can see how this is put together. So the final piece that's installed is the P-trap, which is this piece right here. So let me loosen this off, and I'm going to also show you an adapter. So this comes out, and this is your trap. Now, this happens to be, as you can see right there on the side, 1/2 inch. I'm sorry, 1.5 inch. So we have 1.5 inch trap, 1.5 inch wall pipe, which is here, that I've trimmed to cut. I've cut to fit in here. And we have a 1/4 inch down pipe. Now the reason why this is 1/4 inch is because the drain that came with the kit is 1 1/4 inch. So the way you achieve the 1 1/4 inch to 1.5 inch is with one of these washers. Now this is a different washer than what normally comes with the kit. So let me show you. Here is a reducer washer. So you can see 1.5 inch to, I've ripped it right here, to 1 1/4 inches. So that is how you're gonna achieve the reduction from 1 1/4 to 1.5. So this primary down pipe, if I loosen it off, one-handed, I got it kind of tight here. Just slide it down. So if I loosen it off here, here it is. So this black flanged area, this black pipe is going to fit to the bottom of this flange. And the order of operations is the collar first, then the washer with the cone side facing downward like that. So that's where you're going to begin. So 1 1/4 inch down pipe goes on and tightened down. Once that's snugged up, this is the reducer washer, which is just thicker to bring it down to 1 1/4 inch. That's gonna go on here. Just like that. Now you're gonna put in your wall pipe, which is here. Let's pull this piece off and that washer. I have the washer. This is just the existing one, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm gonna stick this into the wall and start to tighten this up. Not too tight, just get it a little bit threaded on. And align that downward. Now we connect the trap. Oh yeah, and also make sure you have a washer and a collar on there as well. Now we just connect the trap up. So there's the final installed trap, and all I do is hold one end of the pipe and just give it a nice snug tightening. I don't use a wrench on any of this stuff. Just nice and snug. You'll know when it's tight. Now we can turn the water on. So I open up the tap slow and I start to look for leaks. So I open up all the way, then I turn them in about 1/4 of a turn. You don't want to leave the tap all the way open. Grandfather taught me that trick. We got a faucet on. Let me go. Actually, good time to check the drain, actually. So let's see. We have the drain closed. No leaks whatsoever. The very last step in the installation, I like to always go through, and if my taps aren't already marked, I like to mark them hot water, cold water. This is just good for the next time you're in here trying to do a repair. You can easily identify which one is hot and cold. Some houses are reversed. Hot. I don't know if I mentioned this in the video or not. I had to reverse these while I was doing it, so I want to note that. Hot water, always on the left side. Cold water, always on the right. And the taps in my house do correspond. Left, hot, right, cold. So that's just one thing I wanted to note. And then the last thing I do is just basically go through, just take a look once more time at my connections, make sure that there's no water dripping anywhere. And a good sign is to look at the drain pipe, make sure that there's no trickles anywhere on the drain, make sure everything looks good. So this looks like a really good installation, and I think that it's going to be successful for many years to come. Now, I had a little bit longer hoses than I originally estimated, so I just kind of roll them. I've seen a lot of plumbers do that. You can always get some shorter hoses as well, but I didn't want to buy new ones. That's up to you guys though. It's a DIY faucet installation. By no means work for plumbing contractor. So let's take a look at the final result. So here's what everything looks like all installed. And you can see on these spreadboard faucets, when the faucets are in the off position, they're pushed back on as forward. So I did have these reversed, like I said in the beginning part of the video. I was paying so much attention to installing them in the vanity for you guys that I got the order mixed up, but I had to swap them around. But hot is on this side, cold is on this side, and when everything is clocked correctly, that's what it looks like. And yeah, this is the little bathroom remodel that I just got done doing. Shiplap, some nice chrome mirrors, just going for that clean, simple look. So always check the drain Make sure that that stops up water properly, which mine does, which is nice. That drain down, yeah, and this completes it. It's a Delta faucet. So if you guys do appreciate this video, or if it helped you in any way, or it eased your mind, please remember to leave a thumbs up, comment, and please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. If you are a professional plumber, I have mad respect for you guys. What you do is something that most people can't. You're one of the trades that is irreplaceable. And if you are a DIYer attempting to do this yourself, please have a good plumber in mind, because if you do screw something up, if you nick a pipe, if you break a valve, you have a water disaster, you're probably going to need them to come out and help you. And they could probably install the faucet for much cheaper than it would cost for the repair of your mess up. So professional plumbers, we salute you. This is for the DIYer that wants to kind of take a stab at it. So this helped you, please, like I said, subscribe, thumbs up, and I'll get you in the next video. Later.